Last year, about this time, you probably sent out an employee engagement survey. And you probably went through one of the big companies who took the survey. It was very long. People sort of rolled their eyes when it was time to take it. And you're not even sure if anybody recognizes what you did with the information that you gathered last year. So when you took the survey, these big companies gave you back a whole bunch of data, and it was left to you to parse through what the survey said, how they responded, how your employees responded. And you got to take all that information, come up with a plan, and move forward and hope people noticed, right? So this is what happens a lot. And I set out to have a solution that was simpler, faster, and wasn't so painful for everyone to take. And I did it with small and mid-sized businesses in mind. And I did it in a way that creates actionable results, not just the data, though you'll get the data as well. So here's what I did when I started this process. I figured out what questions actually lead to results. What kind of information do people want to share? And it's not, does my leader respect me? Does my leader trust me? Do I feel like I have all the information I need to do my job? These are all good questions, but you really don't need the 1 through 5 scale to determine whether or not that's happening. You're probably hearing that throughout the year. So what I did was I took the questions and formulated them in a way that made sense for the C-suite and leaders to answer, for the people leaders to answer, and for the individual contributors to answer. So there's 3 separate surveys that are customized for each of these audiences. So you send out the survey to the people in each group, and I can create the message for you, or you can send it out yourself. It doesn't really matter. And I gather all that information and I pull it together and create a report that points out, here are the things that you're doing really well. Keep doing those. And I give some highlights of things that your people and your leaders are agreeing on and things that are going well. The second category is things that are doing okay, but with a few small tweaks, we could have a much greater impact. And with that, that's your low-hanging fruit, right? Those are the things that people look at and they think, oh, we could do this with ease, low cost options, but it'll make a big impact and it'll make a quick impact, right? And then you'll get the final category in the report, which is these are the things that are pretty broken. And when you find these broken things, there's usually a bigger project required to fix them. But I can give you some high-level guidance on where you might want to take these broken items next and how you might look to fix them. The beauty of my assessment is you will get this entire report and all of the aggregate data turned around to you in 2 to 4 weeks, which means you don't have to wait for months or weeks to get the data back and sort through it and come up with a plan. I will give you those results very quickly. The duration depends on how long it takes your team to respond to the survey. Now, if you have, I would say, fewer than 200 people on staff, you could send it out to every single person. If you have more people on staff, you may want to be more selective about who you ask. Not saying you want to get the cheerleaders or the complainers or focus on any given group. We might just do sort of a smattering of people throughout the organization. That said, we can certainly do everyone in the organization if we want to. Now, why would you go with me instead of with these big companies that give you all this data and have these proven track records? Well, let me tell you, I've got a proven track record too. I've got 25 years in corporate communications, primarily internal communications. So I know what makes the teams work. I know what people on the individual contributor side really want to share and how they want to get the information back to leadership. And I understand why they're afraid to be totally honest. I also understand the challenge leaders have coming up with reasons why certain things can't be done or why certain processes can't be updated. And I have lived both sides of this equation, and I'm really good at taking all this data, analyzing it, and categorizing the responses so that you can get actionable items. The other thing that I can offer is once you do this survey and you put together your plan, whether you follow my plan exactly or whether you amend it to follow some of the things that you want to do, I will help you figure out a way to report those results out so that people know what got fixed, right? We don't want people to think that things automatically just fix themselves. You're putting in the effort, so let's make sure that people know that. And we can come up with a communication plan that will push out the results in a way that people will know exactly how you took the data, how you interpreted the data, and what you did to fix the problems. One of the worst things you can do as a leadership team is ask for your employees to participate in an employee engagement survey and not do anything with the data. It's really frustrating, and it makes people less likely to respond to you the next time around. So if you're interested in learning more about my employee engagement assessment, or you are having communication issues, or you're having issues that you really can't put your thumb on, things like high turnover, disengagement, unhappy employees, lots of gossip and water cooler talk, low productivity, or a lot of excess waste or rework, I can help you. Reach out. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks.